All right, 1.6, roots of negative numbers, right? So again, we don't really have a notes paper, so you can just work on your homework and I'll work through a few of them with you. Starting off, we need to know one little piece of notes. And I think I'm going to post a video to Classroom over this. There's lots of YouTube videos that explain this better than I can. But we have the number I. I is equal to the square root of -1, right? We've talked before, or you've talked before, about how you can't have a negative under your root, right? Well, now we can. We're going to say that anytime we have a negative under our root, we're going to put in an I to kind of signify this is an imaginary number or a complex number. Similarly, we could say that I squared is -1, right? These two things, this is the key to knowing how to do this homework problem or this homework page. All right, we'll work through a few and we'll be able to use those. We only need those when we have a negative under our root. So number one here, if I take the square root of both sides of here, I'd have x equals plus or minus root 16, right? Anytime you take a root, you need a plus or minus, anytime. So this gives me plus or minus 4, which means +4 and -4, right? That's the fast way of saying that. And the reason that we have to take a plus or minus is that if I had -4 squared, that's 16, and also 4 squared is 16. Alrighty. So let's look at a negative one because I think you guys will be able to do the plain old one. So this was our answer there. Number 4, we'll do 4. If I take a square root of both sides, I'd have x equals plus or minus root -25. So previously, if we got to this step, we would say, well, we can't do it. There's no solution, right? But now we're going to say there is a solution. We know that the square root of plain old 25 is 5, right? The square root of -25 is going to be 5i. Okay, the I standing for imaginary, right? So this will be plus or minus 5i. Another way to think about this is we have a root -25. We split this up into root -1 times 25, which is the same thing as -1 times 25, like that. This is I, and the other piece is 5. Right. That's another way to kind of think about that. You treat I like it's a variable, okay? Anytime we have to combine like terms or anything like that, you treat I like a variable. So let's do another one. Let's do number 6 here. We take our roots and we'd have, well, m is plus or minus root -15. Now, -15 or 15, square root of 15, it doesn't split up. It doesn't have a nice root, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the negative. We're going to turn it into an I, and we're going to leave the 15 as is. All right. So we turn it into plus or minus I root 15. Okay. You don't leave a negative under the root in your answer. Okay. You always convert it into an I. All right. Let's look down farther a little bit. Oh, these aren't that bad. Let's look at number 13. Solving this one's a little bit more complex. I'm going to start off by adding 2 to both sides. So this will be 2n squared is -12. Dividing by 2 gives me n squared is -6. Taking my root tells me that n is plus or minus root -6. So n is plus or minus I root 6. Right? I have the plus or minus, that's something important here, and I have the I because I had a negative under my root. All right, I think you guys will be able to do just fine on these. And it looks like I don't have the answer key to this one. I will post it into that folder on Google Classroom where I have all the answer keys. So, all right, good luck on this, and let me know if you have any issues.